Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Sylvia if this is your first time here, and today we are just going to be doing a fun summery makeup look with a strobing face. I'm so not one to kind of play on trends, whether with makeup or whatever, but this is actually a trend that I think is so beautiful and absolutely flattering on everyone. I still wasn't a fan of the like harsh contours, but I think strobing is definitely the nicer, softer, more feminine way of contouring your face. So anyway, I do try some different products today. Definitely stick to some of my staple favorites, but so definitely wanted this to be like laid back, kind of a talk through, a little bit of story time with me as well. And just wanted to kind of catch you up. We are still working really hard on this hairline, and I'm still very open. I don't want to sound like a broken record, and if you guys are over me, you know, to keep talking about it until something's actually, you know, comes to fruition, please let me know. But I encourage all of your suggestions, and any ideas you guys have, please send them my way. So just been working really hard on that, and you know, just busy with hair and everything related as always. But so I figured I'd just take a little break and do a little bit of makeup today. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this look. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so for foundation, I'm going to be using the Lancome Teint Miracle, and you guys have heard me rave about this for years. It's my absolute favorite foundation, and I'm using it in shade, I believe it's 320. Yeah, 320W, which is warm. And one of my favorite ways to apply foundation, also like I've mentioned before, is I like to add a few drops of the Cacay oil. And it's just a natural oil that helps with like anti-aging. It really makes the foundation like glide and go on just so much more flawlessly, and just I think gives you like a much dewier and just like more even kind of flawless look, because it's so easy to like blend. So I just put a few drops of that onto the foundation, and then taking a big kind of fluffy brush, blending all of that in and just apply it. So we're trying out this big fancy camera today. Adam has been wanting to switch out our whole kind of setup, I guess, or I guess just mainly camera, not the whole setup. But so this is kind of a test. This is like a Mac Daddy like video camera that like big like TV sets or movie sets would use. So I was a little hesitant just because I thought the setup we had was great. So I also want to hear what you guys think. But technically it just records so crisp, so clear that you could literally like record at a regular kind of zooming or whatever, like the distance that we are now. And then once it's recorded, you can zoom in and you can see like crystal clear like footage. So it is good for makeup, so you can like zoom in and you can see like eye detail and all of that without having to zoom in and out while recording. So obviously I would like to hear what you guys think. Like what, did you guys notice a difference, or do you guys not even notice? Ideally, I think I wouldn't want you to notice, unless you think it's miles better, but all right. So now that we've got the foundation done, I know that this is definitely where most people would probably set their face. I always feel that I look really cakey if I set and then do bronzer and all of that. So I'm just going to do what I like to do and what I feel looks best on me. So for bronzer, I'm going to be using the Hourglass in Ambient, and it's such a beautiful color. It's a really intense color, so I really feel that a little goes a long way. So since this is like a summery kind of laid back makeup look, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit, and it's one of like my favorite videos to kind of do because I feel like I can really catch up with you guys and you also get to see a makeup look. So if you guys follow me on social media, you know that I was in LA this week, so I just got back this morning. I think one of the biggest things for me was that I have never flown on my own. It's one of my like biggest fears, and I just get terrible anxiety. And before like people like ask or whatever, I just kind of want to explain my anxiety with it, because I feel like anxiety is so like, even like you put 10 people in a room that have anxiety and they'll have anxiety about different things. So it's not like, oh, you just have anxiety like about this and that's what everyone has anxiety of. I know that sounds weird, but so for me, it's not like the actual flying. I'm not afraid of flying. I'm not afraid of being in an airplane, which I think is like the more common fear. But for me is anytime I've ever flown, I've always had my parents or Adam or like a friend with me. So it was always like one of those things, like I felt like the fact that like there's someone else here with me, everything will be fine. And I was just more worried about like, what if I have a panic attack? And here I am enclosed in this space with like a ton of strangers. Like there's nobody that I feel like anywhere else that's like I'm, surrounded by strangers, whether I'm at a store or like a public thing, I always feel like I can move. I can like go ask for help, or I can whatever. And I feel like in this situation, like if I got to that point, it would be so embarrassing. So it kind of makes no sense, and I know, but it's really like I have anxiety about having anxiety. Like, it's crazy. So anyway, I got this amazing opportunity to go for like a 1-day, like 24-hour trip to LA for Redken, and because we are going to Europe this summer, when Adam like got the email, he was like, I can't take any more days off work, so you would have to do this by yourself. So do you want me to just say you won't be able to make it this time? Just because he knows, like, with my anxiety, he's just kind of, I think in the beginning, he was just more like, why can't you just do this? Like, you should try, but like now he's like, understands it more, and he doesn't really like fight it, and he's just kind of, like, he understands it, I guess, as well as he can for someone that doesn't have it. So, and I was like, no, like, I want to do it. Like, it's Redken. I hate saying no to Redken, and they're always so amazing to me that, like, I feel like I can't say no. And I figured it's like a baby flight because it's San Francisco to LA. So I figured if I was going to face my fears, like this is like the best way. I'm never going to just book myself like a ticket and go for like no reason just to face my fear. So I felt like this was something like, someone's counting on me. So there was like no backing out. And so I just knew like this is my one chance. If I don't go, I'm going to beat myself up for it, because it's kind of like it's the best opportunity ever to kind of get over this. So anyway, what I guess I have to report back was that it was so easy. I swear, like I feel like I almost had less anxiety than when I travel like with Adam, which was so insane. And I think the reason for that is because when I do fly with Adam, there's always that idea in the back of my mind, like, what if I had to do this by myself? Oh my God, how scary would that be? So I think my anticipation of what it would be like was actually a lot scarier than what it actually like is. So I have to say I'm like so excited. I'm so like, I feel like, this is something I can do now. And anxiety comes and goes, gets worse with different, situations of life. And so I'm not saying like, hey, I'm cured of this and like that's all it took. But I do have to say that I'm a lot more laid back about it. I feel a lot more confident. And it's a good feeling, like, to just know that I don't have to give up another opportunity in the future. I think that's one of the hardest parts about having anxiety, is that we ourselves hold ourselves back like a lot sometimes because of fears and all of that. So basically it was like an amazing trip. I had so much fun. The day yesterday literally went like that, and I was put up in a really nice hotel, and I flew back this morning, and again, easy peasy, everything was great. And then I landed around 12:30 this afternoon, and I got in an Uber I was just gonna come home, drop off my stuff, change, and head to the salon. And we were in this really bad like accident, and it's weird, like when I was about to film, like Adam's like, are you gonna talk about it? And part of me kind of doesn't want to talk about it, just because it's like, it just like makes you think about everything all over again. But I guess my point is that I didn't want to come on here and be like, I'm so amazing, I went on this trip, everything went fabulous, and I'm no longer afraid. I wanted to share not just the good, but I think what I wanted to share was that, like, obviously, like, I was really shaken up. It's really scary. Again, I was there by myself. The fact that I was in an Uber and it was like an 8-car pileup, like, it took a long time to get, you know, Caltrans to like come and like get all the cars, like every car was totaled in this pileup. So cars couldn't even turn on, they couldn't move. So they needed to have like a ton of tow trucks just come and like pick up each car, and I couldn't leave because obviously, you know, they needed to get my info. And so yeah, it was definitely scary. So anyway, the first thing, I had to cancel my first appointment because obviously I would have been super late for that. So that always sucks. I hate canceling any appointment, but this was obviously for a not very fun reason, of course. So, but anyway, my point is that I am fine. I am really sore. My chest is really sore, and I think it was just from the seatbelt. Sometimes, like when it's a cross seatbelt like that, like I have a client who broke her sternum from that same thing. So sometimes you're like, would it have been better for me not to be wearing it? But I think overall it's always safer. You can save your life by wearing, you know, a seatbelt. So I am glad I did put that on. But anyway, so really scary. But I think my point of telling you this isn't just to tell you bad news. Was that like in that moment, like I think we've all had, you know, things in life like this happen, but it really puts everything like in such perspective. Sometimes, you know, even though everything was great and stuff, like I think we're always focusing on, I need to change this and I need to do this, and I think in that moment you realize like, wow, 5 seconds before this happened, my life was absolutely perfect. And like I said, nothing really happened and I'm fine. But you like realize like how lucky you are, and it's so hard for us to sometimes think how amazing things really are until things are a lot worse. So I am just really blessed that, you know, that everyone was okay. So like no one involved was, you know, severely hurt. So that always makes you like walk away with, you know, a less heavy heart, of course. And then for eyebrows, I'm using the Brow Wiz in Caramel, the really fine one. And I just think that for like outlining, I think the finer one is so much better. I think you just get a sort of crisper line. And then for blush, I'm going to be using this Tarte blush in Fearless. And the brush I'm going to be using is kind of soft, fluffy brush by Vanity Planet. And I like that for blush because it has like pretty dense bristles, but the fact that it's like round, I think is good for blending, and it leaves a like subtle kind of blush. So you can always add more, but it makes it really soft and kind of blendable. For the eyes, I'm going to be using this Honest Beauty palette. I'm going to be using a mix of these 3 colors. It's a very diverse palette, which, you know, you can use it for various like seasons. So taking this dual-ended Tarte brush, I'm going to be taking this softer brown. And these colors are intensely pigmented. I only grabbed a little and it definitely goes a long way. I'm going to take this more intense kind of goldy color and apply that to the lid. So then I'm going to be using the Honest Beauty Invisible Blurring Powder. Yes, it's very fine. This is exactly what I like. Very It kind of like fills in little pores. It just gives a very, you know, like more smooth skin look, but it doesn't feel cakey whatsoever. And the Honest Beauty palette, and this is the On Point Spotlight Strobe Kit. It has a gorgeous highlighter, which I'm really excited to try. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this one. Definitely not as intense as Champagne Pop, but it is very nice and it does give a very subtle like highlight. I think I prefer Champagne Pop, so I'm gonna be using that. Putting a little bit of that on my Cupid's bow. So the thing with like strobing and all of this intense highlighter, which I think is absolutely beautiful, for someone that was never really into contouring and chiseling out the face like extremely, I love the strobing, not just because it's a beautiful kind of like accent to the face, but I think what strobing is, or what it's like trying to be the opposite of contouring, is that you can, instead of like making things kind of dent or go in like with a contour, you're making things pop out. And so you can still get really edgy kind of lines, or you can make the face look extremely chiseled with highlight as opposed to using contour for that. So I don't think that highlight is just about the beautiful shimmer. It really is, you can kind of carve out the face, but instead of carving out, you're highlighting what pops out. So I love the idea, and I think it looks beautiful on everyone. So it's just a matter of finding, you know, the right like shade for you, of course. So then for lips, I'm going to be using this Maybelline Color Jolt in number 10 Never Bare. And this is just like the funnest, like softy, like a girly pink. And it goes on kind of like a lip gloss, but then it dries pretty matte. Then for liner, I'm just going to be using Maybelline's gel liner, which is, I think, one of the easiest gel liners to work with. And then for lashes, I'm going to be using the CoverGirl Fibers Mascara. And then I'm just going to set my whole face with MAC's Fix Plus. Maybe not right after you do mascara. Alright guys, so that is it, my summertime strobing look. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've definitely tried to use a different range of products this time. And also please leave down below what's your favorite summer face look. Some girls like to go bold with the lips, some girls like to really keep it kind of low maintenance, so I'd like to hear what you guys prefer for the summer. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. I will leave a list of everything used. I know that I may have talked through some stuff and not actually mentioned a name for something. So, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye. And Champagne Pop by Becca. Hopefully I can do it in this one now. Perfect.